The moment I realized the truth, it felt as if the world beneath me shifted, slow, heavy, and terrifying. I stared at the screen, my heartbeat thudding against my ribs, my breath trapped somewhere between fear and disbelief. The profile picture, the girl with the soft smile, was the same face that had comforted me for months, but the name, the identity, the entire life behind that screen, it wasn't someone else. It wasn't a stranger, an online friend, or a mysterious soul who understood me better than anyone in my real world. It was me, or rather, the version of me I was too scared to become. The truth hit like cold water. I had spent months falling in love with the kindness I wished someone would show me. And I didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or break into pieces. Before the story continues, if you believe in kindness, forgiveness, and second chances, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support truly helps this channel grow. I grew up in a house where silence echoed louder than any argument ever could. My mother worked double shifts, my father drifted in and out of responsibility, and I learned early how to disappear in plain sight. I wasn't the quiet type because I wanted to be. I was quiet because no one ever waited for my voice. At school, I was average in every way. Average looks, average grades, average presence. People didn't notice average, and after a while I stopped expecting them to. But loneliness has its own hunger. It grows sharp edges that poke at your ribs at night, reminding you of everything you're not. It all started the day I created an anonymous account. I didn't intend for it to become what it did. At first, it was just a harmless way to escape the heaviness of being myself. I chose a name, Mira, simple, soft, feminine in a way I never felt. I used a random profile photo I found free to use online, a girl with warm eyes and a half smile that felt comforting just to look at. Mira wasn't confident or bold, but she was someone who spoke freely, someone who didn't overthink every word. And slowly, I realized how much easier it was to breathe when I wasn't me. The strange thing about pretending is that it doesn't feel like lying at first. It feels like relief. Through Mira, I wrote encouraging messages to strangers online. Little things like, "You're doing your best, be proud of that." And every time someone replied with gratitude, a part of me unclenched. It felt like I had a voice for the first time. And then came Liam. He wasn't the type I normally would have talked to. Confident, outgoing, always surrounded by people in the photos he posted. But there was something raw beneath that energy. Something real in the way he wrote late at night. He messaged Mira first, thanking her for replying to one of his posts. He'd been going through a rough time with his family and said her message felt like a small piece of light. I didn't mean to get close to him, but sometimes lonely souls recognize each other even through screens. One message became 10, 10 became hundreds. He told Mira things he never told anyone else. How he felt unseen in his own home, how expectations weighed on him, how he feared he'd never be good enough. Every time he opened up, I felt both honored and guilty. He wasn't talking to a real girl. He was talking to my shadow. But I couldn't bring myself to confess. I kept telling myself I'd tell him soon, just a little later, when I had more courage. But courage doesn't magically grow, fear does. Over months, Liam became part of my daily routine. He made jokes that made me smile in real life. He'd send long messages about hope, and I would respond with the softness I couldn't give myself. Slowly, he began to heal, and it filled a part of me too. It felt strange, unfair even, to know that someone was becoming better because of the version of me that wasn't real. And then one night, everything changed. He messaged, "Mira, I need to tell you something. I think I'm falling for you." My breath caught in my throat. It should have been sweet, a moment from a movie or a story where two souls connect. But it wasn't. It was a knife twisting slowly, because he wasn't falling for me. He was falling for a version of me I had invented, and I didn't know how to fix that. Over the next week, his messages grew deeper, more vulnerable. He talked about meeting someday. He imagined what our first coffee together might be like, how he'd recognize Mira instantly because your heart would shine through before your face even did. Every word felt like pressure on my chest. I realized I wasn't just hiding behind Mira, I was suffocating behind her. One evening, after a particularly emotional message from him about finally feeling seen, I stared at the screen for hours. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, shaking. I typed everything out, the truth, the apology, the explanation. Then I deleted it. I typed again, deleted again. The fear of losing him battled the guilt of keeping him. I didn't sleep that night. The guilt crawled beneath my skin, heavy and aching. But the universe has a way of forcing your hand. I had forgotten that the profile picture I used for Mira, while safe, existed elsewhere online. Liam found it, accidentally. He confronted Mira the next day, sending a screenshot of the original source. And suddenly, everything I feared came crashing into reality. "I don't understand," he wrote. "Who are you really?" I froze. He wasn't angry at first. He was confused, hurt, desperate to make sense of things. But I had no clean explanation, no excuse that could soften the blow. So I did the only thing left. I told the truth. Not perfectly, not bravely, but honestly. I told him everything, why I created the account, how I'd never meant to deceive him, how I had been just trying to survive the loneliness swallowing me whole. I told him that Mira was the person I wished I could be. The read receipt appeared, then nothing. Minutes passed like hours, hours like days. He didn't reply that night, or the next, or the next. In that silence, I spiraled. Every regret I'd buried rose to the surface. I deleted the Mira account. I avoided social media altogether. The guilt was a heavy, dark companion I carried everywhere. I replayed every moment, every message, every soft lie wrapped in good intentions. I wondered if I had ruined not just his trust, but every chance I had at becoming someone better. But healing begins in unexpected ways. One morning, 2 weeks later, I opened my inbox and found a message from him. It wasn't angry. It wasn't bitter. It was honest. He said he had felt betrayed, confused, disappointed, but also strangely grateful. He admitted that Mira's words had helped him through some of the darkest moments of his life. He wrote that even if the face wasn't real, the compassion had been. And that mattered. He needed time, but he didn't hate me. He just hoped I would learn to give myself the same kindness I had given him. His message didn't erase the pain, but it gave me something I hadn't given myself in a long time, permission to forgive. Over the next weeks, I slowly began to rebuild, not through a fake identity, but through small steps, journaling, reaching out to people in my real life, speaking gently to myself on the days I wanted to hide. I learned that sometimes you become someone else because you are afraid that who you are isn't enough. But the truth is, becoming your real self is the bravest thing you can do. Liam and I didn't go back to how we were, but we didn't become strangers either. We exchanged occasional messages, real ones, honest ones, and for the first time I spoke as myself, without shadows or masks. He told me once that he admired my growth. I told him that he unknowingly taught me how to speak kindly to myself. And slowly, the loneliness that once consumed me softened, because I finally realized something important. Mira wasn't someone else. She was me. Just the version I had been too scared to believe existed. And now, day by day, I'm becoming her, honestly, fully, without hiding behind a borrowed face. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support means more than you can imagine, and it helps these stories reach others who may need them. Before the story ends, I have one special request. Comment, "I choose kindness," if this story made you feel something today. Sometimes the person you need to save is the one inside you.